Hello, welcome to my Web University free educational videos. In this video, I'm going to show you the Python language basics. Let's go through this. Python language tips and tricks is the topic that I'm covering on my YouTube channel. As you can see, my Web University free education videos is my YouTube channel. In this session, we're going to talk about Python language basics. So Python was created in the early 90s by Guido van Rossum in Netherlands. And then he's still working on the project. And as you can see here in 1995, he continued to work on Python at Corporations for National Research Initiative. And then the website names, everything is there. This information I collected from the license version of inside the Python interpreter. So you can just type in license, the left parenthesis, right parenthesis, and it will tell you that information. In fact, let me show you that one after we get into this demonstration. So Python interpreter supports bytecode also. So within Python, sometimes in programming languages, you could have an interpreter language, or you could have a compiler language. Python is an interpreter language, but it also supports bytecode, which is the extension of the file could come with .pyc. At this time, I'm not going to go to the detail of this because the topic of this chapter is, or in this session is basics. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about Python programming language itself. So Python is very simple to learn and very simple to code. And that's makes it so universal and rich in terms of open source community and developers. And it is liked by everybody. And a lot of jobs that you search look for some Python programmer. That's why I'm covering this one to help you out in Python programming, so you can get a job or and do good in the school. Python is rich in standard libraries. So there's a lot of standard libraries that already come with Python. We are covering a lot of the Python standard libraries, as well as libraries that are written by open source community and other developers that are called modules or libraries that we could just add it. Some of the examples of standard libraries are math, OS, for example, and then sys, which I covered already, PyDoc, and so on. And then some of the libraries that are covered, like NumPy or Request, and so on. All of those ones are going to be just covered as well. Python supports both functional programming and object-oriented programming. So by design, it supports both of them. You can write function programming, which is like C or Pascal and Ada and other ones. That is procedure language functional programming, as well as object-oriented programming, similar to like C++, Swift, Go, and other languages. So Python is like Go language is interpreter, but at the same time, you could get bytecode like Java as bytecode and run it faster. In fact, the regular expression module, RE, in NumPy is written purely in native C, so you could just get advantage of those as well in terms of speed. Python is general purpose programming language, so you could write programs in data science, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and then you can name it, anything, standard programming languages such as general purpose, or even like game programming or web programming. You could do everything with Python. Although it is very good for data science and artificial intelligence and some numerical analysis like NumPy libraries, MATLAB, and other things. So Python documentation is very rich. It supports is great there at python.org website, and a lot of the modules have their own PyDoc and documentation. I covered one documentation called PyDoc module in one of the video. Please look at that one. It will help you just understand anything that you need to do with Python. Python runs on a Windows platform as well as Unix. And when I say Unix, I'm talking about Solaris operating system, AIX operating system, Mac OS X, which is Darwin BSD, BSD, FreeBSD, and all those platform that is supported, HPUX, everything is Unix. And Linux, when we're talking about distribution like Red Hat, Debian, Fedora, those distribution. And then to name some of them, Linux, Ubuntu, Linux Mint, and Red Hat, Rocky versions, and OS, all of those ones, OpenSUSE, or example of Linux version. So it is a really good programming language that you can just take advantage of it. In this session, I want to just use the Google collaborate.research.google.com website to just use their kind of notebook, interactive notebook that they provide, and it's for collaboration. You can just go to https collab.research.google.com, as I pointed out there. You can just interactively learn Python, which I'm going to show you the basic of Python in this session. So, and this is the actual interactive session, and that you can see. I went to editorial and put the number lines on, and so I'm on line 1. I haven't written any code, but it is ready for me to just interactively type in the command and then run it and test it in the interpreter. So we will go through some examples here. And then let's just go through the examples by visiting to that website. So I'm going to open here and I type in https collab.research.google.com, which is collaboration.research.google.com. It takes you to this page, and then once this page is coming, you just basically click on the new notebook. So when I click on the new notebook, obviously there's a lot of documentation, but because I'm trying to explain something, I'll go straight to the name. As you can see, the name, it does not have any name yet. So I could just name this one, say, basics, like the name. And then I is interactive, Py is the extension for Python, and NB for notebook, I believe. That's the extension for this one. So when we save it, automatically it saves it. And then Google provide this one for you as the iDrive and other ones. Automatically, next time you come in it, you can practice it again and again. But if you want to just have an account, you have to create an account in there to use all the rich features. Here under the setting, you can also come in and change some of the editorial setting, like I just put the line number, and then the font, I put it to 36 pixels, so it is big enough to be read at the nicer read for you on a YouTube channel. So here I'm on the prompt. If I just say click on run, it doesn't do anything. It runs it, but I just did not have any statement here. So it is gonna do a check mark, say that, yeah, it ran and did not have any error. But if I say print and then say hello, and let's say word, and then this, I could just say run this one. Now it's gonna just say hello world like it did. And so if I just say the text, what you type in within the double quote, welcome to my YouTube channel. YouTube, I'm just going to type in YouTube channel, that's it. Channel, and then that's the website that I have here. So sorry, the website I have. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So if I just press enter here, I'm going to line 2. And then if I want to just, in addition to that one, say the name of the channel, say my web university free educational videos, then it's going to print that one. And then, but I have to press enter. Now I'm on cell 2. When I just press enter, it just prints both of them there. So this is just to write a message inside this, but you're not just entitled to write only a string. So you could say print 2 plus 2, and then you just add those two numbers. And then when you run it, it just gives you the addition of those two numbers. And you could just say anything you want to do, like to a string, say this, and then just add to it plus as, and then plus. So now we're concatenating, and instead of numbers, we're concatenating test. So we just write like that, and then we have to close the bracket. So now this one is going to say the same thing. This is a test, because I'm saying append this at the end of this one plus. So if I didn't write this one, then I had to put the whole thing in one statement. This is a test. Like that would be the shorter form. So I'm not adding anything there. And so you could add a number, or you could add this. So in fact, I just showed you functional programming by doing that class earlier. I showed you object-oriented programming. So the strings were defined there, and then it says these strings need to be done with function overloading, and then we just appended those ones. But we will discuss basic now. Let's just look at some other example here. So how you define a variable? For example, in every variable, or you don't use the var, or like on Java, or you don't JavaScript, or you don't use int, and those data type to say it's an integer like C or character. So you just say x is equal 5, and automatically knows that that is a number, and that is there. So then when you say print x, automatically says this is a value of 5. And if I just say type of x, what is the x, then I could just see, and that is an integer and data type right here. And then if I say, and this is x is now 5.0, now by doing this one, I just changed the x from integer data type to a floating data point. This is a dot, means it's a floating point numbers. So Python is not strongly cast for the data type. So which means the data type, you can change it by giving a value different than what other ones, and then automatically would do the same thing. Now notice at 5.0, and then print x is going to say 5.0, but the data type is float. Again, it's not like C or C++ or Java or some other programming language, just that are strongly typed. Like on once you write in JavaScript or C, C++, the int to be x is equal int, you cannot change it there. It's the strongly data type. This one is not. So I could just say change in this to be my name, Wahidullah And then let's say I give it that name, and then you can see now X is the variable, and that I'm assigning some value for it, and the value is, in this case, is a string, and then the data type is showing as a string. So if I just change this one to say get the value of true for this one, this is a Boolean data type. Now, if I just say X is equal this and true is there, and then Boolean is the data type that has either true or false statement. And so you write the false like this, and then true is a 1 and false is a 0 in every programming languages that I know of. So this one is, we just covered 4 different data type: integer, floating, string, and then Boolean data type. So in these examples that you do, for example, if you just say, you could say 5 is greater than 100. That is not true. So this one is still going to say false, because the Boolean expression is not going to evaluate to true. This is an expression on the right side. This is an assignment statement. This is a variable. So we're saying take this expression, determine if 5 is greater than 100. If that is true, and then assign true to X, otherwise assign false to it, which it does. So at this case, I'm just changing if 5 is less than 100. This one, when I run it now, it should say true and then Boolean, because 5 is less than 100, and then it says true, and then the data type is Boolean. So there's a lot of other things you could do. For example, on the type of everything that you do, if you just say what functions are there for the Booleans that I can execute once I do this one, notice that it gives you a list of all the functions that are available. And then similarly, if you just do this one with a number like 100, that's an integer, and then the function that are available for integer are here. So if we just change that one to a string called, let's say, google.com, or just let's type in this URL so you know where I am at, https colab dot google dot research dot google.com. This is the website that we are. So if we want to just print that there, you could just basically see that is going to give you. But if I just put a pound here, and I don't want to print the dir output because it's too long, I could just comment it with Python as a comment. Now it did not run this statement here. And so if I want to just do a multi-line comment, I could do this, sorry, I could do either 3 single quote, and then just say, starting right here, 3 single quote. Now the whole thing is commented, and it, as if I didn't write any code, and it is basically ignored by the compiler. But notice that this is just giving me a new line characters and the rest of the values there. So I'm going to just do a multi-line comments here, and then just close it with multi-line. But because we're inside the interpreter, these lines somehow may not be interpreted. You have to save it to a file in order to do that. So I'm going to exit out of this line, and then delete this line. And let's just do like a couple of mathematic formulas. So I could say print 5 plus 10. And then on the fly, you can just do the output. You don't have to assign it to a variable, and it does the computation there. And if you just subtract it, you just use the subtract symbol. That's the arithmetic method that you could do it. And if this number is bigger, obviously and that would give you a 40 there. And then if you just multiply it by it, you just use that multiplication. So if you just do like 2 to the power of 10, to the power of 10, and then that would just 2 times 10 is 20. But if you want to do a multiplication to the power of, this is 1024, it will just give you 1024. And if you change the 10 to a 5, it should be 2 to the power of 5 is 32, it should give you 32. And similarly, if you do a module, like if you just write some module there, you could do division, like 10 divided by 2, that's the division. And then, sorry, the division, this is not, this is a division. And the slash is the forward slash, not the backward slash. The Linux / for division. And then you could do like mod percentage and then 2, that would just be remainder 0. So that's the remainder here. If I do 10 mod 3, and that 3 times 3 is 9, 1 is remainder, so it's going to give me the remainder 1. Similarly, if I do it 5, there's no remainder, it's going to give me 0. So that's the mod there. And then you can also do like if then else statement. So you could say if 5 is greater than 10, then you put this colon, and then you go to the new line, you indent it, you say print yes, that is true, and then else and that's not true. And then the else part, you say print no, 5 is not greater than 10. So that is going to be displayed here, and you can see that it is going to say no, 5 is not greater than 10. But if I say 50, and then it's going to just run say yes, because 50 is greater than 10. So you're doing like if then else statement and everything. And there's like also a for statement within the Python. So you could say for kind of like item in range of, let's say just number. So say for number and range, and you could just say 10 numbers, and then put this statement and say print number. So this variable, in this case, we're using a for statement, which loops from 1 to 9. In this case, 10 is the last one, but it doesn't include the 10, and just gets it there from 0 to 9 and prints it. If we want to include 10, we have to do up to 11. So the last number minus 1. That would be the indices of this one. And if you want to just say something here, say that numbers are here, and then put a code here, you could say that one, and then say number, and then here you give it a space, and then just run it like that. It will just say that numbers are 0 through 10. And if you want to just do some calculation here, number times number, and just whatever the numbers are, you could just say the numbers times numbers are, and then is equal, and then we just run it like that. So your output say the number times number is 0, 0 times 0 is 1 times 1, 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 3 is 9, and 10 times 10 is 100. So you could do similarly if you just change this one symbol to plus, and then you just have to use the operation plus here. And then let's say you need help on something, you forgot how to do certain things, you could just delete this cell completely and start all over, or you could just type in help here. This would get you into the Python interactive, and then you type in the command. So if you're looking for keywords that are covering all the keywords within Python, then it's right here. The FS statement that we just used and some of the comparison, FLs, for statement, not, and all those ones. As we go through more of these videos, I'll cover more of them. And if you just want to get a list of modules here, you could just type in modules, and then that will just give you the list of available modules here. Notice the modules here, and that is and just telling you it's deprecated and something. But if you don't get this information, it's because the notepad is not up to date, but yet it is just still loading it, and so it will take a while to do it. If I just go to like a Python interpreter here, say for example help here, and then do modules here, then it will just list the modules that are in there, and these are the list of the modules. And then if I'm looking for like HTML here, you could just get the output there. And if I look for the F statement, I get there. And then topics, I could just look for topics, and then topics, all the topics that I want to learn from it is there. So the types, for example, for the data types that are there, and then the expression, like if I write a class here, it will just write all the Boolean expression and the comparison, and then how you add, how you multiply, all of that. And if I look for math function, for example, it's all the things. Let's just do one more example on the math function. So here, if I just don't do anything on this sample, I could just, let me see if this interpreter will allow me just to press. If you just at the space bar, yeah, you type in a couple of times, and that one, it will just come out. So I'm going to just show you a math function. So if I just do a dir here by default, and this is just all the list of all the libraries that are loaded here. Notice that the module that just got updated. You see, this is the list of modules that were there. That's why it was running. So if I just run this one now again, this is all the list of objects with all the variables, constant, methods, everything that are available inside Python, including packages and everything. So if I say print double_, built ends, and built ends, this one is basically all the functions that are available within Python for the built-ins, and the details are there. You could just get it, but again, this is going to run for a while to just give you that one. So let me do one more thing for math. Now I'm going to say import math, and this is just importing a math module. Then I could say print math.square root of 10 of 100. The square root of 100 is 10, right? So I could just say, go ahead, give me that one, and it says going to be 10. If I say 81 is 9, then I'm sorry, yeah, 9, and then it's 121, for example, 11, you could just get the square root of that one. If you want to get the power of a function, like we were just looking at 2 to the power of 5, and then instead of the math.pow, we could just say math.square root, we could say math.pow. And notice that the interactive Python notepad, it is very kind of sensitive. As soon as you type it in, it is trying to help you that what you're trying to do. Here, I'm going to get it 100. Now for 10, 1024, I should be getting 1024, and I do. So notice here, if I do math dot, that it is going to tell me like all these other functions are available. Similarly to like IDE, it's very helpful in that sense. If you forgot, for example, oh yeah, I want to print out pi value, and then just say 3.12141, so on. Okay, And then the other thing is that you could also do import sys module. For example, sys.version would give you the version information on that is running on the Google search, like executable. It will tell you that this is a Python version that they're running, Python 3, and then if you just run the platform, and then you know it's Linux or anything else, and it says it's a Linux server. So linux.system.path also give you the path information, and then the rest of the information is all there. But I want to just end this video at this session. I hope you enjoyed it, and please don't forget to go to our channel and then like and subscribe. And then I just posted the Lambda functions, and I'm going to post this one next. So you're welcome to subscribe so you get all these details as soon as possible. If you're subscribed, you will be the first one to see all those updated videos. Have fun and enjoy it. Please go to collab.research.google.com and just play around with it and enjoy learning Python. Have fun. Take care.